Welcome to Wolves Weekly. I'm your host, Mark Colachico, the Director of Media Relations here at Western Oregon University. We're here today to talk season recap with head football coach Arne Ferguson. Arne, thanks for joining us today.
Well, it's nice to be here.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. So, talk a little bit about your season. 9th straight winning season overall. 6-5, I think, is where you ended, with back-to-back wins to end the year. First against Humboldt State here at home, and then you went on the road to South Dakota Mines and defeated the Hard Rockers to end your season.
Yeah, our players are very resilient. It's a season where really good offensive production and some guys on defense starting out at Portland State. And really, it came down to the very end of a very high-scoring game against a Portland State team that's a division ahead of us and quite a few more scholarships than us, obviously. So very excited about that. Then some things happened on our O-line, really unforeseen, or just one of those years that you can't predict losing starters that are non-contact injuries. So we had significant amount of that that hit us, especially offensively, and which set us back. And really what it did is took away Joe Harris, our run game, and so it made us more one-dimensional. We're fortunate to have 3 true freshmen jump up and start at that O-line position to really help get us solidified. But you got to understand, they're just out of high school. They're 20 to sometimes even 35 pounds, just undersized. They were very competitive. The future's bright for them and our O-line in the future, but playing true freshmen at this level, anytime you replace a kid that's 260, the player that's playing that's 260 and the guy that was playing was 340. There's a huge difference there. So it hurt our run game, but Ryan Bergman stepped in and did a really nice job. Trey Shimakura stepped in and did a good job getting better. And then our receivers, the credit goes to our quarterback and then our receivers. Tyrell Williams demanded a double team almost every snap, and Paul Revis came up and had a really good season as a redshirt freshman. Kama came in and did some nice things. Danny Thomas did some nice things. And then our tight end of the very last game, Philip, came in and also added to that. But all those guys are redshirt freshmen I talked about other than Tyrell. And Tyrell's a huge weapon that we lose offensively, which is going to be hard to replace. Obviously, Ryan Bergman, we feel, without a question, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He made things happen where nobody in our conference can make those things happen. It's not even close. And he didn't practice one snap until after game 1. So that's unheard of at the college level and especially Division II level. And then Craig Akins on the defensive side is all over the place. That person is one of the best football players that's ever been at Western Oregon on the defensive side. And he's going to be really, really hard to replace. We played him at backer because people ran away from him. Humboldt down there, out of around 35 plays, only ran 3 to his side. Just check away from Craig. And so that is a lot of respect for the things that he does. He may not be the biggest, he may not be the fastest, but he's 6'2", 295 at the end of the season, and making every play that's possible and allowed our young players really develop. Those 3 seniors, Tyrell, Bergman, and Craig, are the most dominant 3 players that we've had on our team in a long time.
And you talk a little bit about individual accolades. Paul was named co-freshman of the year in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, and then you had 9 other guys to be named either first team, second team, or honorable mention. That's quite a bit for one team.
Yeah, and our league came in, with it all said and done. We played Azusa Pacific, the toughest of anybody. We're ahead with 3 minutes left. We let an 80-yard run pop. There was no hole. Went out on the sideline. Our offense drove down the field. And then our receiver ran into the ref, ended up dropping the ball. And then we missed a field goal that got blocked by a couple inches. Otherwise, we felt there's no question we would have won that game and been GNAC champions along with Azusa. Nobody played them as close. Azusa got to them early, but Humboldt got to them early, and then Azusa revenged that down there at their place was significant. And Azusa had, I believe, 9 home games, which is huge advantage at this level. Travel in the West is significant. We always feel there's a 7 to 14 point difference when you travel, and it's not because it's hard travel; it's just time. They lose a little bit of their legs, a little bit of preparation that we do going in versus a home game. So our players were 4-0 at home, very good schedule. Played, Portland State very tough to the very end and end up being tied, which we have been for 2 or 3 times. It seems like every other year we're tied or tied for the conference championship, or just 1 or 2 plays away, and very similar this year. And our players, with the resources that we have, do a really, really good job of stepping in and playing at a high level. And we're fortunate to have coaches that are able to coach so they can do that, which is, you look across our conference, nobody had as many redshirt freshmen or true freshmen playing, which bodes for the future. But those 3 seniors I talk about are very, very, very good players, and going to get looked at that next level.
And you had success individually, both on the field and in the classroom, with 5 academic all-GNAC players. How do you mold the academic success with the athletic success?
Western Oregon's a very unique place where their academics is first. Fortunately, out of the 5 players, 4 of them are linebackers, which is a very hard position, very physical position, but to see those guys work very hard in the classroom and be very dedicated. This school allows that because being Division II. Also, with us practicing in the morning allows them to spend more time on their studies as need be, and those guys took advantage of that, and we're very excited about that, and especially since all of them are coming back, and one even's a redshirt freshman, so we expect him to even increase his GPA.
And you talk about Ryan Bergman, Tyrell Williams, Craig Akins, big losses due to graduation. You've got a handful of other guys, I think 8 other guys that are not coming back next year due to graduation. But as you talk about freshmen, redshirt freshmen, a young team really stepping it up, what are you looking for next year?
Funny, it seems like we just started, and then we're talking about next year. Our coaches are out throughout Oregon, throughout the Northwest, recruiting right now as we speak. This university, with the new facilities that's added, with the cost of tuition being the lowest or most economical school in the state, has really allowed us to attract players from all over the West. So we really feel that to rebuild with the type of player that we're looking for, which is very simple: hard-nosed, good football player with a good upside, but hard-nosed, does well in the classroom, but loves to play football and loves to compete. The whole program is built around competition, and we feel that because of that program approach, that we're able to play guys a little bit before they physically should be ready. And so our coaches did a nice job with that. Corey Metzger, our strength coach, also helps adding to that extra piece, which is crucial. We're excited to get going with spring ball and bring in the other players that we need to add to our team to be a championship level team. And it's very difficult at this stage with our conference being so competitive. You got to be in that 18 to 22 seniors to really add that extra leadership that you need to be successful.
And then you say you feel like you just started and we're talking about next year. Let's look a little bit forward to next year. You haven't officially put the schedule out yet, but you do have 6 home games on the schedule, 5 of them to be in conference games, and then you're going to repay North Alabama for them bringing you out earlier this year. They're going to come here. And you talk about Azusa Pacific being successful due to that. No, I won't say lopsided schedule, but for them it was. For you, it's not really a lopsided schedule. It's just 1 game difference. But is that an advantage for you?
I think anytime you play at home, it's an advantage. I think our grass is an advantage. It's Tom Neal did a great job of getting that prepared in such a short time span. As a head coach, I was very concerned all the way down to the wire, and it did really well. So excited to have that root and become better and drain better. Our players, I think it keeps them healthier. That's why it is an advantage. The contact injuries I'm talking about, non-contact, happen on field turf. It hasn't happened on grass as much by far. So that, I do think that helps us stay healthy, which as you can see throughout the season, your health is very important in football. For me as a head coach, I believe this is the first time out of 10 years that we have had 6 home games. So I really can't tell you how big of an advantage it's going to be. It just never has happened before. We're usually in that 5 or 4, just because it's hard for people to come out and want to play us.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on, talking about the season. Congrats on a good year this year. We look forward to bringing you back on as we get closer to the spring game, talk a little bit about spring ball at that point. But as we say, great job this year. The Wolves were successful. We'll see you again next time, and as always, go Wolves.